You are now tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. From goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful. You are now tuned in to My Skin is My Sin on Blog Talk Radio. Goons to gods, we welcome everyone. We only have one rule, and that's be respectful.
I'll at us next week, man.
No doubt, man, and definitely shout out to the family, liberationmindedmedia.net. That is Black Eye Stand, Do the Knowledge Radio, The Rundown with Renee, and My Skin is My Sin. Oh, and don't forget to share the show, man. If you check it out today, or if you check it out next week, or if you check it out in 1,000 years, and if you are that motherfucker that digs us up in 1,000 years, you are the most phenomenal individual to ever walk the galaxy for digging up this greatness and still share our shit, man. Shout out to you. Don't forget to check out the websites, embroshell.com, designsbymonet.com, and myskinismysin.net. We were talking about the Instagram post that you made where you posted the picture, the painting that Afi did, and how disappointed I was in some of our people in the comments that they made, because I felt you. I was proud of you. Like, I would be so honored, and for people to even think, let alone actually press sin to hate on somebody, or it's just ridiculous, and it just makes you want to stop. How come you don't quit?
Because I've been hated on since I was little. I was, and so it's a part. I believe that it's a part of the crown that God has bestowed upon me in regards to the work and the line that I'm supposed to do. You know, I know that since I was a child, I know I'm supposed to get some whippings. You know, I know that it's just always have came along with it, and it's one of those type of situations where. I really have to thank my mother, my late mother, Juanetta Lone Wolf, and who always was, just giving me so much amount of love in such a cruel world. And, just being born by a Native American woman, very light skinned, very straight bone hair. And then I came out beautifully, melanated with a head full of curly hair all over, And so as a child, I was called nigger. As a child, I was like, people was wondering, is that my real mother, or where is this girl's parent? Where is her mother? That can't be her mother. So as a child, I've always, I've dealt with that. And my mother just gave me so much love to continuously, as long as I had that. And then also she instilled to love myself. And so I do have my moments. I'm 41 years old now. So, I do have my moments where it's like, oh, God, another person that is hating on me, or another person that I'm going to have to let go because I really thought they were my friend, or another person, and it's hard, but I always, one thing that I always, continue to remind myself, that people come into your life for reason, season, lifetime. And in the world right now of social media, that's a lot much more faster and rapid speed than if we didn't have social media, of why people are coming in and out of your life. And so I also understand the age of social bots and social terrorism. And then I also understand that we're dealing with a lot as woke as many people think that they are. They're not that woke. They're, especially if you're so easy to judge others. And so, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I was used to it, and I want to thank you for sticking up for me. And, that right there really means a lot, because I feel like at times I'm misunderstood, or I'm questioning. You know, people look at me from afar and like, okay, what is she? What is she doing? I don't understand her. What is, you know, I get a lot of that. And so to have someone understand at least something of what I'm doing, that I am, by God's permission, I'm worthy, you know, of an accolade like that, and for someone to to see that right there means a lot. And so, you know, the artist, of course, she was upset because she put in so much work. Student Minister Troy that felt that I was worthy to be on the mural for the school. You know, he was very upset. Like, you know, why he's just all like, you know, why are you getting all this hate, you know? And he was just very upset. And you know, and I put in a lot of work in the city of Detroit, and as well as the city of Flint, you know, and so they were more upset than I was because I'm used to it. I'm more used, to be honest with you. I'm used to that public hate than I am a public acknowledgement. I get more public hate than I get public acknowledgement. Yeah, and I mean, it is what it is, but you know, God is preparing me for something. I don't know what it is, but you know, I'm being prepared for something, and I think that the more that people begin to see my works, then they'll begin to understand the person that is behind, that's doing the working. So,
and you know, the really sad part, just for me personally, because I quit giving a shit about black folks every day, but I wake up still trying. You know, I think we all quit it at some point. You feel me? But I don't have to deal with that energy either. Like, I could just walk away. And with the pedigree you got, if you wanted to just be rich, you probably could.
Yeah, but I have, you know, God has blessed me around a lot of people that are very wealthy, and then God has blessed me to see people that have sold their soul to you know, it was a period in my life, right? And maybe you know, this is the ministry that's coming out of me, but there was a period in my life where God was surrounding me around all these people that had money and fame and fortune and stuff, and I was like, and at the time I was rapping. And I was like, why am I not, like, why aren't they signing me? Like, why aren't they putting me on? Why aren't they, you know, and then it came to me and it was like, God was all like, nah, I got you around these people to show you where I'm going to place you. So you could see where you're, what things that you should and should not do. See, sometimes you may be around some people that, you know, and you're wondering how come this person ain't putting me on, but you're around that person so you can learn and see how they're doing it, to see what the do's and don'ts. So when God places you around, sometimes it's the most unlikely person that's going to be around your team. So I'm really grateful for those that are around me that continue to, and they're not yes men and women, but I have really great people around me that keep it very real with me, that ground me, that and then at times when they start seeing things like what you saw, you know, what you saw was that's a small little dose of what I get every time I turn on my social media. So, you know, so that but when it comes to them, they hit me up and they're like, you know, give me a little boost, you know, or I may meet someone that a mother that has 5 children, a young girl that has 5 children, and she's out there peddling for money, you know, and it's like, so those type of things remind me, like, you know what, let me help this person, or another person that was murdered by police and I'm getting a call saying, can you help us get justice? You know, so that if there's times where I do get like, I don't have to deal with it, but I do have to deal with it because no matter how much, because you know what, I have a shirt. I have a shirt that's on my website that says, I ain't going back and forth with anyone that Harriet Tubman would have shot. And I live by that quote.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I live by that. I'm not going back and forth with anyone that Harriet Tubman would have shot. You can't save everyone. You know, you can't save everyone. You have to, there's certain folks that you're going to have, they just going to have to, all you could do is like, all right, I could show you where the water is at, but I can't force you to drink. You could either hear what I'm trying to explain to you, or you could take it or you could leave it. But I'm not going to sit here and continue to waste my energy. And I guess it's because I'm past 40 now, like I just turned 41. So I guess as like the older I'm getting, the more zero tolerance I'm having. but the more I'm like, I'm only rocking with those. Like I have no one in my cipher that I have an issue with. Everyone in my cipher are good people, and in those that I have issue with, I just don't deal with it. I just don't, you know what I'm saying? And that's even with those that's amongst amongst humankind. Like if you ask for my help, I'm here to help you. I'm here to be free. I'd be there for you. If I see any injustice and you're wanting justice. See, sometimes some people, they may go through an injustice, but they probably not ready to get justice. Some people are just not, and so they might just want the Instagram fame, but they don't want the real work on what it is to get justice. So, so that too. So it's like, if you really, really want the help and you really believe, my freedom may look different than your freedom. My freedom, and that's another question you have to ask yourself too. Does our freedom look the same, especially when it comes to movement work? My freedom may not look like your freedom. You may think that Trump is going to give you freedom and get you free. That's not what my freedom looks like. I'm not going to sit here and beg politicians to change this world. No, we got to change it. My freedom look different than yours. So you also have to look at that too. So that's what keeps me going. You have to look at the intricate details when it comes down to our people. And not everyone is, some people are stuck on, I'm sitting there telling them about about the condition of Native Americans in 2018, but they stuck on, we Moors and we didn't come from Africa. We was here first. And I'm talking about Native Americans in 2019. That people are still looking at us as mascots. There's a Washington Redskins team. You don't think that's racist, but you want to talk about how we were here first. Well, if you felt that we were here first, how come you not fighting with us against the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Indians? How come you're not fighting with us that there's over 10,000 missing and murdered Indigenous women in 2019? If you say that you was here first, why aren't you with us today? So don't talk. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm not there with you. I'm not there with you. My freedom looks different than yours. You want to be stuck in 1900s or 1500s. I'm not there. I'm sorry. The white man is already planning 50 years of what it looks like from now. You want to go back. I can't go there with you. My freedom looks different than yours, and I'm not going back and forth with anyone Harriet Tubman would have shot.
I like that shit. I'm sure to say that. If you don't, you need one. Because my freedom do look different than yours. That's dope. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit my homegirl up Earth and tell her that she need to make a shirt off of that one too. She'll be like, she'll be like, we're gonna make a shirt of this quote and this quote.
Hey, and when it blow up, y'all got to come back on the show though, so I can do it properly and we won't have all that madness.
That's what's up.
And you know what it is, man. I think. Because of how strong you are for both sides of who you are, niggas make it an easy target because they want you to pick a struggle. Like you can't be mad at two things at once.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
They want to. It's like you can't box me in. You can't box. I'm sorry, someone's calling me, but you can't box me in. That I won't allow it. You still there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I won't allow it. That's like denying. I can't deny my mother and my father. My mother was full-blood Native American. My dad is Black from Brooklyn. Descend. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is. And I can't. And then I grew up knowing and loving both cultures, both sides, both national, you know what I'm saying? Like I it's not like I didn't know who I was growing up. Like my mother made sure you're going to know, not only that, but you're also going to I'm going to also teach you how to speak the language, your Oglala Lakota. You're from the descendants of Crazy Horse. This is who you are. We're going to the reservations. You know what I'm saying? My mom, like, we're going to Baltimore to go in Georgia to meet your grandmother and your grandfather on your father's side. You're going to know that they were ministers. This is your family. Like, you know, like it was. So I can't, my mother never raised me to choose. I won't choose. There's been times where people have tried to have me choose, saying, you know, why don't you not speak about, you know, like your, who you are and your, and then, or they'll be like that. She just thinks she a black Pocahontas, or some people said that, like, why don't she wear, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does she wear native garb? Why don't she wear African garb? I wear African too. I wear Muslim garb. I mean, it like nothing confined me. And that's why that's why I'm an open target, you know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to figure out why, you know, because I'm not as, I'm a layered woman. Just like everybody, a lot of people are very, very layered. You don't know their story until you really get the chance to know them. But when you see me, I'm a layered person. You know what I'm saying? From the outer to the inner. Like and I also, and every race is in my family. Every race, every culture, every religion is within my family, with all of my families. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, and one injustice in one place is injustice everywhere. And you can't say you woke if you don't believe in that. You know,
so are there no instances? Well, when you say injustice, I guess I was thinking of it in one way, but that's kind of subjective. So when you think about it, like an injustice it can be defined differently depending on who's doing the defining. Is that right? I don't know. But yeah, I get what you say. I ramble sometimes if you ever listen to the show. So I apologize, Queen. That's just me.
Yeah, it's all good. Like injustices could be, you know what I'm saying? Like how I look at injustice is power and greed. You know, when you look at environmental injustices, that's power and greed. When you look at, you know, police brutality, that's power and greed. You know what I'm saying? With racism, you know what I'm saying? And then, but even that's power. It goes right back to power, you know, because there's been black officers that have murdered black people, you know, and so that's power. That was a use of false power that they thought they had because they had a badge and a gun. So, you know, so it's power and greed. That's what we're fighting, you know, on every level of an injustice.
So what do you tell a mother whose son was murdered? How do you deal with that compilation of emotions? Like, I've been a nurse for a long time, and I know you ingest negative emotions or sorrow a little bit at a time. How do you deal with it?
Mm-hmm. You know, and I respect you for being a nurse, because that's exactly what if you want this is like, if you care and then you put action behind caring, and then people calling you an activist or an organizer or just a person that cares, it's like you are constantly in that triage, in that emergency room. And it's like, you know, you get to go home. You know, I don't know if you get calls at 3, 4 in the morning of someone screaming and crying that their son or their cousin or your cousin or your best friend's 13-year-old son was just murdered. So a lot of the things that I'm on the front line is because it already happened in my family. My best friend's son was 13 years old. He was shot in the head in Georgia around the time that Trayvon Martin was murdered. My friend Romaine Brisbane was shot in front of his children by the police. And because the officer followed him and interrogated him and shot him, closed the door, shot him while the children was coming and thinking that dad was bringing home food, dinner. And he had McDonald's food in his hand. And the officer shot him in his torso and then in his back when he was already on the ground in front of his children. Just last month, my cousin's cousin was just Native American, was just murdered. Well, in April on Palm Sunday, was just murdered in a church. They tased him They handcuffed him, and then they shot him twice inside of the church on Palm Sunday in April. One of my cousins was shot 16 times 2 summers ago in South Dakota. My other cousin was murdered by the police, ran off on the side of the road. So this is in my family. And then from there, I'm close to Mike Brown Sr. I'm close to Felicia Thomas, the mother of Nicholas Thomas. I'm close to Monteria. Her son Jamarian was shot 76 times in Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm close to, Kendrick Johnson's family. Kendrick Johnson was found in a high school mat with his organs gone. Mm-hmm. And then just recently, Latasha Walton, I'm becoming close to that family. And Latasha Walton was a mother of 2 that was murdered on the freeway. The police shot her. And so, it's an endless amount of injustice. It's an endless amount of these type of calls. And so, I do feel at times, do I have PTSD from getting tear gassed and all of that, or do I need counseling? And, all of us in the movement, we need more help. It's not a lot of us. We thank you for the tweets and the reshares and all of that, but we need more people on the front line when we're organizing and helping and motivating these families. We need more people on the front lines that's out there trying to find these missing and murdered Indigenous women. It's at an alarming rate. They are taking Native American women. It's over 10,000 missing and murdered Indigenous women. And no one knows because they want to get caught up on, the Washington Redskins game, or a Thanksgiving holiday. But this is the issue that's happening throughout Indian country, and the same thing with the Mexicans at the border that are in cages. Like we need more help. We need more people that care, and not only just care, but also saying I'm willing to help while I care. That's really the problem. We don't have enough people that's saying I'm willing to help and care.
Right. Yeah.
People care, but it's not. But let there be an award ceremony or something, and then no one cares anymore while we're still handling and dealing with the issues. So yeah, we do feel like we're in a triage center, an emergency center of a hospital that is never ever closes. And so I try. And those that's in my movement family, we try to do little getaways. And, every once in a while I head to Miami. I just came back from Cuba for the first time. I used my passport. So, I do try to find something or, I'm a mother. I'm a single mother. So I try to find time to be able to spend quality time with my 8-year-old. I have an 18-year-old and an 8-year-old, so he doesn't see mommy always, on the phone, just sad and everything like that. Or he, like the other day, he was like, Mom, another person got murdered. I'm so tired of this, so I'm seeing it rippling and affecting him. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to get him counseling,
Right.
So.
Yeah, I would agree because he's growing up in that, like your older son got some of it, but he at least got, what I'm saying? He got to a point before it started. But the younger, I get what you're saying. I'm curious though, in the Native community, is there a fear of extinction?
Yeah, most definitely. There's about 10 million Native Americans in the United States, over 500 federally recognized tribes, or over 300 federally recognized tribes, and about 500 tribes in the United States. And so meth is a major issue. Alcoholism is a major issue. Suicide is a major issue. And then now we're dealing with people kidnapping and taking Native American women and murdering them because they want to fantasize on the Disney portrayal of Pocahontas. So the reason why we was in Standing Rock fighting against the Dakota Access Pipeline is because now we're preparing right now for the Keystone. The Line 3 is happening right now in Missouri. Is it Missouri or no? In Wisconsin. Line 3 is a pipeline that they're trying to build in Wisconsin. So around these oil pipelines, they set up man camps. At these man camps, most of the time on these pipelines, they're out on our lands, on our reservation lands, from Canada all the way to America. And so these man camps, there's pimps that come and they kidnap Native American young girls and women. And then they drug them up and they take them to these oil camps, man camps. And then after they're done with them, they murder them. And there's actually called the Highway of Tears. It's in Canada. It's a long road of all of the signs and missing signs of all of the women that are missing or murdered. And so not only are we fighting against oil pipelines because it affects our water and our lands all throughout America and Canada, we're also fighting these pipelines because of the type of the type of culture it brings, which is stealing and taking Native American women and men and boys as well.
Wow.
So yeah, these are the things that we are dealing with a small population of us, of about 10 million, when you look at comparable to other races. So this is why I'm a big advocate on we have to unite, not just to fight for Native American rights, but vice versa, for Native Americans to fight for Black rights and for Blacks to fight for Latinos and Latinos to fight for Native. You know what I'm saying? And we have to unite. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is as powerful as an atomic bomb. And that's the reason why, and back to your first question, that's the reason why I'm constantly under attack, because all I'm doing is promoting for us to unite, because how powerful that is. So, of course, I'm a threat. I'm a threat for those that have sold out to power and greed, and those that are, white folks or Black folks or whoever believes in power and greed. And I'm a threat. I'm a threat because you're not going to box me into one race. I'm telling all of us to all unite.
That would be dope. All right, let me switch lanes just a little bit. Wu-Tang, how dope is that you know Wu-Tang, and even doper that you know Wu-Tang. Who's your favorite?
All of them are great. All of the Wu-Tang. I learned a lot from the clan. Well, I was married to Capadonna from Wu-Tang Clan.
Okay.
But yeah. So there's a was in there, but all of them are really great. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all just dope MCs. They contribute a lot to hip hop. Yeah, and me and Capadonna produced a beautiful son. So yeah. That's a blessing, and I have 8 bonus children because of him, and all of those are my babies. I love them all. So yeah, and 2 and 3 bonus grandchildren. So it's Wu-Tang is for the children, and and one thing, and then I was just. I was just telling my bonus daughter, I was just like, and my son, I was telling both of them, like, with the Wu-Tang district, I went over 2 weeks ago and went to the Wu-Tang district to go look at, the new wall that Gano did. And I was just like, this is a legacy. And I told them, I said, no matter where you go in the world, you mention your father's from Wu-Tang Clan, you will be received with love. Wu-Tang Clan as a whole, as a collective, have created such an empire and such a huge contribution to hip hop, and as well as, of course, the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, And so yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I'm really proud. I saw the documentary. A lot of that footage I already saw before, but you know, it was good for everyone to see their story. You know, so not only was Cap my husband, but I also managed him, and I also was on the executive management for Wu-Tang Clan. And during the 20th anniversary, so I was able to like really learn the the world of Shaolin. Go into one of these chambers, you know, saying that like. So
I met Cat Madonna like years ago. Like it's probably like 05, 06, somewhere around there. I'm from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I bumped into him a couple times here. We used to go he used to do business with this one brother I used to buy all my mixtapes from. And that's why I met him both times.
Was it Born Divine?
No, I forgot the name.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that though. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, cool brother.
Yeah. Yeah, so
really,
it's like
that was the story.
I mean, I just said I met him, bro. Like I ain't say like, we smoked a blunt or nothing, nigga. Like
I I'm sorry, Queen. Go ahead. And before you do, Queen, I do need to let people know. I had to switch to my phone, so I'm not in front of my computer. So I can't really look at the live stream. I'm not even sure if y'all can hear me. I know you can on Blog Talk. So if you do want to ask a question or you got a comment, the number is 347-855-8692 and press 1. And share our shit. You know, if you listen to it tonight, share our shit. If you listen to it in 3 weeks, share our shit. Man, if you listen to our shit in 74 trillion years, first off, it's the dopest motherfucker that ever walked the galaxy. Share our shit. Definitely honored to have Queen Yonasda.
You almost had Yonasda. Yonasda.
Look, I said it right. But I said it right, all right? I said it right. That's right, Queen. Yeah, y'all get that shit together, bro.
Hey, low key, I had a little cheat sheet downstairs. Like I had written it like it sounded to me. You know, so I was practicing on the sideline. You know, I had everything going. And then when Blog Talk started tripping, everything just went to hell in the handbasket. You know, so I just improvising. You know, we do what we got to do. But I do appreciate the Queen coming on. Like, that's, like, when she was like, oh, yeah, okay. I'm like, we've been wanting to get you on the show for about a year now.
I feel like
I saw that Koya responded. So I'm all like, Koya must have had something to do with it. Do you know Koya?
Yeah.
She was, yeah. She's a part of my organization called Hip Hop 4 Foundation. So
I know I put her up on you. I do believe. I don't think you know about that.
Oh, okay. I think I love Koya. She's dope.
It has been I kind of like just from the outside looking in, seeing y'all. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
Nah, I kind of feel like an ass because I wasn't in the know. You know what I'm saying? So
it's all
you know what I mean? Nah, yeah. Nah, I'm gonna pay attention from now on. I mean, you ain't got to worry about it. I'm gonna be on chat.
Hey, well, you know what? Hey, I'm attracted to the energy, and if I see, like, I may not even agree necessarily with your stance, depending on what it is. But if you're willing to put your neck on the line for it, I gotta respect that.
Facts.
Yeah, so, thank you.
You know,
that's really what it boils down to. Like, we all have to stand in our truth, you know, and fight for what we believe in. And it may not always be, you know, you may not agree all the time with the, you know, but as long as you fighting and you going hard, you know, one thing my grandfather, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, he said to me, he was like, you know, we're all going to get to a point in our life where we're going to have to fight for what we believe in. You know, we'll all have to make a decision. He said we're all going to have to make a decision on what we're willing to fight for and fight for our death for. So, you know, no matter what it is, you know, he said that, you know, like, everyone's going to have to make a decision on that. whether it's for your child or your loved one or something that is, bigger, like, the land, the water, whatever it is, you're going to make a decision. I'm ready to go down and fight for this, And there's been times where I was on the front line with certain things, and I'm just like, if something pops off, am I willing to die right now? Is this what I'm going to go down for? I really had to make decisions and like, if this is it, so there's been times where I didn't go, because I'm like, I don't know am I willing to get arrested for this? Because that's freedom. Like that's someone taking your freedom. Getting arrested ain't fly to me. Some people set up to get arrested. It's not. It's never. I've been arrested twice. One in Baltimore, and another time out in the county in Baltimore County. But and the other time in D.C. with Tamika Mallory and my son and Pastor Jamal Bryant. We got arrested on immigration. But I don't take that I don't take it lightly because my mother was a political prisoner, and my dad's been in prison in and out most of all my life. But when my mother was a political prisoner for something that she didn't do, you know what I'm saying? And I know what that looked like. I know what that felt like. And it wasn't, I don't take getting arrested lightly. So when, I'm like, all right. And so then, but when I'm out there, I always know like there's a chance I might get arrested. Am I willing to fight and get arrested for this? Because I don't know what's going to happen to me once they take me. I don't know if they're going to kill me in there. Like, it's a whole other ball game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So am I willing, is this person that, whatever it is, like, it don't matter what it is. Am I willing to, so every time you go, you're doing a march, a protest, or a sit-in, a stand, whatever you're going to do, for civil disobedience, is like, am I willing to go down if I go down? Because that's a choice you have to make,
Yeah. And then you got to know that you're just going to go down. And once you go down, you by yourself, basically, you and your circle.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the Instagram post from the front line, but don't nobody want to see the results.
Fact.
Yeah. There's still people locked up from Standing Rock. There's still people locked up from Ferguson. Still. No one is saying their names. There's still people locked up from the Baltimore uprising. No
Absolutely.
one is saying their name.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, it's like, and then on top of it too, there's people that had got murdered from Ferguson, Darren Shields. The list goes on and on. Mm-hmm. And like, we're not screaming their names, And then now, so I was just telling someone, I was like, yo, it's all cool and dandy to scream a Sada Shakur quote. It's all cute to say, I said, long live Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers, but are you willing to do what they did? You know what I'm saying? Are you willing to stand on the front line the way that they were? Because they wasn't with all that nice okey doke. Let me take a picture and vouch for this political, this guy or this woman that don't care about Black people. Or not having the conversation on reparations. Because like Kwame Ture, I used to call him Uncle. That was Uncle Kwame for me growing up. I was born in the movement. So the thing is like, I remember, and some of these revolutionaries I still talk to. They don't have that okey doke, nice political lingo type of conversations. It's straight black and white. Yo, it's either freedom to the death. That's it. Right. That's the way that they talk. So sometimes some people be like, why don't you, why don't you use certain words or certain, because my grammar isn't all that good, but I know how to get the truth out. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is like, man, that's what I grew up around. I grew up around revolutionaries. Y'all don't know revolutionaries. I'm talking about revolutionaries that had guns on the front line. We over here with signs with our fists in the air. That ain't front lines. That ain't revolution. Nah. At Wounded Knee, they had not, like Wounded Knee, American Indian Movement. They had guns. They had a shootout with the FBI. That's real revolution. What we talking about? Nah, you can't call yourself a revolutionary because you don't know what they really dealing with in Venezuela. You don't know what they really dealing with in Africa. Go to those places with your sign and see how far you go.
Right. And
calling yourself I'm myself a revolutionary. Right. And everyone's so quick to call themselves an activist. You can't be quick to call yourself an activist. You can't, because if you are, you got to be willing to take those blows. You got to be willing to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm close to Yusuf Salaam and Raymond Santana from the Central Park Five. They revolutionaries to me. They activists to me. You know what I'm saying? They did 10 to 14 years in prison for a crime they didn't even do. You know what I'm saying? That's like, and sometimes like I was just like, when I was in Standing Rock, it was Yusuf Salaam that he would empower me and say certain things to me, and I'm like, man, here I am complaining about tear gas or rubber bullets. This man did 10 years in prison for a crime he didn't even commit. His whole childhood was taken away from him, and he's still smiling and happy, and you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man. Nah.
Right.
Hey, the rubber bullet still got to hurt though. I'm just saying. I don't think I want to get hit with it. I wouldn't want to get hit with a rubber bullet. That does still pop.
That ain't 10 years though, man. That ain't no 10-piece. Like
yeah.
I take the rubber bullet.
You know, given the choice, I take the rubber bullet. Still sound painful though. No.
Yeah, we're gonna stand. You don't want to get hit with no rubber bullet, and you sure don't want to get tear gas and mace. It's totally two different things.
Right.
Tear gas was that's a whole nother ball game than mace. Then you're like you feel it from your bone.
What's the difference though? The feeling.
But mace is that like something that's just really just subtle. You know, cough a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Tear gas, you feel that all the way. A burning sensation from your bones all the way to the out, it's burn fire all throughout your entire body from the bone all the way out. And the only way to be able to calm that down is milk. The more you wipe, the more it burns.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you actually have a comparison of that personally is ridiculous.
Yeah, mace, like when you get mace, you know, it's and then you're like, okay, I'm good now. You know what I'm saying? But tear gas, the more you wipe, the more it's burning you even more. Water's not doing nothing for you on tear gas. Water feel like it's worsening it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. I learned some shit tonight, that's for sure.
And then with sound cannons, like sound cannons is like those sound cannons is a whole nother ball game. Like it messes up your equilibrium when they have those sound cannons. You know, it just like it has you feel distorted because it's hitting pressure on your ears. So you know.
So you can't run
on sound cannons.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more further it's their sound. So it's just basically sound. So the more that, you know, the more further you get away from it, the better it is. But it's supposed to have you freeze in your place where you can't do nothing because the sound is so alarming and it's messing up your equilibrium.
That's crazy.
But you know how big of an asshole you gotta be to think of a sound cannon?
I know.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just evil. Like,
I would think of some shit like that. I'm not gonna lie.
But what they've been kind of, I mean, and just imagine the other stuff that they haven't even put on us yet.
Put on the street
you know
yet,
right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to know about what's the new stuff, then we just look at the war, what's happening right now in Palestine. They're testing all of that on the people of the Palestinians. So if we want to know what the new equipment is that they're going to soon use here, then yeah, it would be it would be it would be to know about, to research what they're doing in Palestine.
That makes a lot of sense too. Because Israel be having some weapons. They got some shit over there.
Yeah, they send to all of those weapons, and they use it on, for the Americans to test out.
Yeah, so what's that thing?
That's what they were doing. That's what they was doing. They couldn't wait. They couldn't for something to pop off in Ferguson for them to start using those toys. They're toys to them.
Right.
So they couldn't wait for them to use those. And then when Standing Rock happens, they was like, oh, then they wasn't properly trained. So when they was using flashbangs, they were throwing them on the ground. They wasn't even, you're supposed to throw those in the air. So that's why one of the girls' arms were decapitated because of the fact of decap. Yeah, because of they used that flashbang on the ground and it hit her arm. So she doesn't have an arm because of their improper use of that sound of those flashbangs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, you literally, like, I know people that literally have done 20-something years in the armed forces and don't have stories like that.
Yeah,
that's frontline shit, man.
That's front. Yeah, that's frontline, and all we had in Standing was nothing but prayers. Nothing but prayers. You know,
that is amazing.
With nothing but signs, and I mean they was going back and forth in Ferguson. You know what I'm saying? Like they was, but they didn't have no weapons. You know, and then they came in with all of the weapons. So
that is insane. Like I just know, like I can remember vividly of the uprising here in Baltimore, like how tanks. And like I was doing contract work for DHS then, you know what I'm saying? And I can remember, like I could just remember like 30 different agencies, bro. You know how small Baltimore is? You know what I'm saying? Yo, Baltimore's so small, bro. They had tanks out here. In Baltimore City, it's insane. They had tanks out here, dog.
That's crazy.
I was out there. In Baltimore when I popped off, and it was crazy.
Oh, okay.
Like it was surreal. Like to see, like because the streets were narrow, but man, they couldn't wait for that.
They couldn't wait. Wait. Yep.
They were because they all. It's like basically, especially when a police department get these toys and they're not able to use them yet, and they want to use them. That's like having a new Xbox in a box, and you're like, God, I gotta play this game, but I can't play it yet. You know what I'm saying? With the new Call of Duty game, you know what I'm saying? That is only exclusive for you. You know, you're like, dang man, I can't. And that's how
new
it
controller,
is.
no batteries.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like, dang. They're like, man, we gotta use this stuff.
Right.
They want to use it. They still want it. Man, there's so much more stuff they haven't even used yet. They want to use that.
Yo, the crazy shit is like when that happened, like at work, I was at work, bro, and they told us like, yo, be careful, we all go, whoopie whoop, blah, blah, blah. Like I was literally at work doing private security, whoopie whoop. I got work. I was outside, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I went over. Like I'm from East Baltimore. I went and parked over east, and I was outside because I had to see what was going on. You know what I mean? I had to see it. Like I didn't want to see. I didn't want to hear what the news said because I knew it wasn't going to be real. Like, I really wanted to see what was going on.
I can't even imagine that shit, bro. I can't even imagine that shit.
It was crazy.
I've seen the clip on TV. That's it.
Yeah, but it was really like that. But they didn't show it. They didn't show the tanks. They didn't show National Guard. They didn't show all the other police agencies that came from neighboring states that were here as well. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit was crazy, man. Like I ain't never see that many police in my life. Period. Like Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia.
We spent our time hating each other on Instagram.
Right. Right.
Y'all don't see this shit happening?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and I'm
the crazy part. Yeah.
Go ahead, my bad, bro.
Nah. What was crazy was like when it popped off, like it kind of started. Like, it started in different places of the city, but it was kind of like white people thought it was cool. Like they saw the protection coming, and then it was, oh, fuck you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of how, like, clips that you see, that's kind of how it popped off. It was an Orioles game. You know what I'm saying? So you had drunk white people and hella police. That's kind of how the shit kicked off, at least downtown. And then they stopped the subways. You know what I'm saying? And they stopped the subways from running because they had kids on the subways. You know what I mean? Then the kids got off the subways, and then you saw the kids fucking the cops up with rocks because the cops had orders that they couldn't shoot them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the other part, too. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't shoot them. So then you had kids out there fucking police up with rocks. And then all that shit just transpired. And it just had this big ass, just downwind effect. You know what I mean? And it just went straight down North Avenue. And everything went crazy. That's how, you know what I mean? That's kind of like how it happened.
It was crazy. And they utilized, like, they really used the children. You know what I'm saying? Because the children, but, you know, especially because, you know, I know that when the buses and everything couldn't go, and they, you know, they try to say it was the Freddie Gray, but it, you know, for some it may have been Freddie Gray, but it was really a boiling point of the conditions and the culture of Baltimore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was the boiling point, and it was
bigger than Freddie Gray. Yeah, it's definitely bigger than Freddie Gray. Freddie Gray was kind of ignition of it, but it was like I said, it came to a boiling point because we're still in the same position, and we're still in the same position here. You know what I mean? Nothing's changed. You know what I mean?
I mean, but
nothing's changed.
If that's showing you anything for all you, and I'm not disrespecting anybody that has opted to be an intellectual, just to the intellectual snobs, when shit really pop off, it's the regular people that get fed up.
Yeah.
Right.
That actually do something. Stop being so demeaning of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And that's, and, you know, but, you know, like, you know, I know that, you know, and shout out to Stokey, you know, say he's running for mayor. You know, it has to be a change of those that actually really believe in the people that's going to really make a difference. And, you know, there's a mob culture of Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of mob, like old mob folks and money of Baltimore. And, you know, and then you have like a lot of young people. The city has failed Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? And they continuously to fail. You know, they failed Baltimore, and that was really the boiling point of it. You know, and I mean, I've seen some changes. Shout out to those that are still, you know, doing everything that they could, but it's going to take a lot. You know, and it's going to have to. You know. Fortunately, it took the bottom in order for those on the top to recognize, you know, in order for them to, like, you know, they fired so many teachers that wasn't doing anything. They fired so many police that wasn't doing anything. You know, it was like they filed a lot of, they had a lot of politicians resign after that uprising. So it was the people that really made that change, but it had to be hellfire in order for that to happen. You know, sometimes, you know, I know that Malcolm X said there's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is that there's times where it does have to get like that. You know, it has to get like that. You're going to have to burn down some houses. You're going to have to burn down some buildings. You know, all of that stuff to be rebuilt, you know. It's just that the condition and the legacy and the generations to come of people can't. So it's like, you know, if everything has to be, you know, I went to the fire in California when that was happening. And just to see it looked like Armageddon. Like I literally was driving on the road, and to my right was nothing but wildfire. It was the most scariest thing I've seen a lot, but that was the most scariest thing I've ever seen. Cause I'm like, oh my God. but then the vegetation that comes after that fire. People was crying, and there was a lot of people that lost their homes, and it was a lot of that. But all of that is material things. But the vegetarian and the new growth that's going to come after that fire is going to be even more beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So, that I always say, like, even with President Trump, I'm like, he's a necessary evil. He had to come in order to wake this man. This is the first time ever that so many people are like we got to unite to change this. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was too comfortable in our so-called American dream. Obama didn't give us peace. There was more people that was being imprisoned that was people of color than ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't do anything for the people in Ferguson or Mike Brown. Like, he didn't do that. Like, he called us
thugs. He called us thugs.
You know what I mean? I like his swag. He does. I love his charisma. But when it comes down to being a president, it was the people that paid for him to get in there that ran the country. It wasn't Obama. Obama just made it. Obama just made corruption look good. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it was.
In like a niggledy way. You know what I'm saying? It was like a niggledy crumb. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like facts. You know what I mean? Like, watch me hum this Al Green hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knows Al Green.
Because he looked good doing it. Obama was fine as hell. You know what I'm saying? He looked good doing it. And I was like, man, and every time he spoke, I really was like, man, we're going to have a better world. Like, I got caught up. Like, God, Obama. So, like, yes, we're going to change the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really was like, believing him. Like, I believe in this man. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time he spoke. But his actions, man, it was so many of our great leaders, like Umar Gaddafi, that was murdered behind him, his administration. Fidel Castro, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on of real freedom fighters, real revolutionaries. You know what I'm saying? And that was all under Obama's watch.
Gaddafi was about to fuck the world up.
Man, Gaddafi doing that one Africa. They was like, oh hell.
Yeah, that was going to change everything.
That was going to switch and change the entire game.
Right.
They didn't want that, so they used a black man to kill a black man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say, there is a potential for a nonviolent revolution at this stage of the game technologically.
No, man. Listen.
Yes,
white people ain't going out without no violence, bro. This is a power struggle. You know what I'm saying? This is for them.
Let me ask you this. This is my scenario, and this is for you and the Queen. Okay, you get the power to be the electric king for a day. What would happen to this country if you cut off the power to California? Or if you cut off
white
the power
people come out with their guns, the purge. Nigga, you don't see what's going on?
But it won't be those Californians. You know why? Because they'll be fighting each other for scraps.
Listen.
So we got one big chunk of the country. You can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
This is the thing. President Trump has already cut federal funding for California on certain projects. It's like close to $1 billion something of funding. He did this last month. That's a non-violent way of saying I'm not going for what you're going for. The people are outraged. But do you see violence? But do you see, a lot of people don't even know this went down. See, people don't notice nothing until there's violence. People don't get outraged until there's violence.
Right.
We always knew about police brutality.
Right.
But it wasn't until we saw it on our screens and video that we believed it, even though we knew it, even though we saw it in our neighborhoods. Was when the world was outraged when they saw Mike Brown laying on that ground for 4 hours.
See Eric Garner get choked out on camera.
Yeah.
Eric Garner. The first was just a sound a sound. It was only a sound wave of Trayvon Martin, and we was upset. But there were still people that did not believe. There were still people that still was like, no, I love my picket fence. I love my Sunday barbecues. No, I'm a good old black family living in the suburbs. Nothing's gonna happen to my baby. Nah, I don't think no. Trayvon doesn't look like my son. Then Mike Brown happened. Oh snap! Where is Ferguson? Is that in the inner city of St. Louis? No, it's on the outskirts of St. Louis. It's called Ferguson. It's a small little town, nice neighborhood. Then Eric Garner. Then it hit everyone with Tamir Rice. I mean, it went on and on. And that's when people was getting outraged.
Yeah.
So the thing is that violence, in the words of Malcolm X, there's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. In order for there to be revolution, there has to be violence. Unfortunately, I'm not pushing for us to be violent. I'm not a violent person. But if you push me to the edge of threatening or killing any of my loved ones, my sons, my family, then you will see violence. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is that that's how it is. That's how it is. People don't, and naturally, it's in our DNA. I was on the tour with Van Jones, and we was talking about love, and I said, man, it's in our DNA as people of color, as indigenous, original people. Indigenous means original people. So original people of the world, it's in our DNA for love. It's in we love. If you look at history, we welcome these folks in because we was like, no, we see you. We love you. Then they came with all that violence. They came with all of that stuff. Even when we had tribal wars, there was still some type of common ground of love, of reconciliation. Mm-hmm. There was no pillaging. None of our tribes pillaged and murdered women and children and give me one of them stories. I don't know about that. I don't know about that story. Of them pillaging and taking and raping an entire another tribe of people. Enslaving us and taking us across waters or to unknown places. Nah, it's in our DNA to love. Even in our war, we love. So, in today's age, yes, it has to be. In order for there to be some type of any type of change, it's people going to have to get uncomfortable. And that's what it was. Yeah. We got uncomfortable. We got uncomfortable when Trump was elected president. And that's a beautiful thing because that's when change started coming. And that's the reason why he is a necessary evil. Because we was too comfortable thinking that Obama had it all worked out for us because he was a black man. We was too comfortable thinking that that it's okay that Mike Brown could lay on the ground for 4 hours, and so many people was appalled at everyone turning up in Ferguson. Oh my God, no! Oh my God, no! Obama, go fix this, Obama. It's like you putting your faith in the wrong person. So God was all like, let me put someone in here that's going to be a necessary evil to wake all of y'all up, that it don't stop depending on the next person to make a change. You're going to have to make a change. So now you're seeing so many people that you least expect saying, I'm going to march with the students. You know what I'm saying? On that was just, March for Our Lives. I'm going to march for what they're taking away my rights as a woman. I'm going to march for that. You're like, what, Becky? I'm going to march with the woman. What, Susan? You're marching? Oh, my God. I'm going to march for Black Lives. What, Tom? Oh, my God. Now you're seeing people that you least expect. You know what I'm saying? Marching for people that they never thought they would march for. There's more white folks that I be standing next to at a Black Lives Matter march or stopping police brutality march than I see of my own people.
You don't think that's intentional on their part,
wow. Though? Huh?
You don't think that's intentional on white folks' part to give that visual to dilute the movement?
I don't know about that, but I know that they're crying just as much as I'm crying when I'm next to them. See, there could be people that could watch it from afar, but I know what it's like because I've been on the front. I'm on the front line. You know what I'm saying? And I know what it's. I know what Becky is screaming right there with me, and she's crying like, you know what I'm saying? And she's like saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What do you need me to do? I'm going to be a good ally." I need you to call. You could call your politicians. You could do all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because like I always said, there's different positions in revolution. We needed those white allies when we was in Standing Rock. Those white allies came with a lot of supplies that we needed. When everyone was getting all the Native Americans, a lot of the Native Americans that were getting arrested, it was the white allies that was like, I'm willing to get arrested for you. Because I know when I get arrested, I'm going to get out the next day. When y'all get arrested, y'all going to still be
in. We do need those white people. Like, I will take a white person to get arrested.
Those are the ones that be on that I've seen on the front line.
Now, I will say I saw a video, and I'm not sure where it was at, but this brother was turned up with the police. Mm-hmm. And it was two white people that basically just kept putting themselves between him and the police. And it was literally like this nigga had an invisible cloak. Like the police would not harm these white people, but as soon as they tried to get a little moment, they tried to grab the brother.
I've seen that shit. I saw that. Yeah,
so there is. I mean, like in every movement, you got to understand that there's there is there's agents amongst us. There was agents. It was agents amongst the Occupy movement. You know what I'm saying? That was purposely trying to do things during the Occupy movement, and the Occupy movement was a predominantly white movement. So the thing is that you have to keep that in mind. So if you are woke to know that COINTELPRO isn't not just something from the 60s, you know what I'm saying? That COINTELPRO is still today, and it is also on social media to infiltrate, using, there's people that use fake accounts that you think you're talking to a black person and it's not, or you think you're talking to a Native or Latino and they're not. And you're like, man, I looked at, they have a whole profile and everything. But so the thing is that, it's like that on the front lines too. They call them anarchists, and there is a movement of white folks that are tired of the way that the government is and stuff, and so they want a huge revolution. They're terrorists. You know what I'm saying? Here, we're seeing that people are surprised when they're like, oh, Bobby was such a great kid, and I didn't never realize that he was shoot up the school. Yeah, because he's a terrorist here, and here, and I have the right to say he's a terrorist because this is my land. So, as a Native woman, as an indigenous woman, so the thing is that, like, they're doing that. So yeah, they may use, if they don't want to get caught up, they may use us for it.
The thing is, though, is like you have been just privileged to have such a wealth of experience. But for the average black folk, like, it's a hard sell to be like, yeah, trust white people. Because we have done that shit so many times over the years, and they have proven each and every time not to be trustworthy. So it's a tough one, because I get where you coming from. Yeah. Like, it's a whole different ballgame. Like, you go to war with somebody, you don't care who they are. If they can shoot and and they got your back, you fucking with them, and you looking at things because you had experience. Most of us don't go to war.
Yeah, and I don't trust nobody.
We need them.
Right, I don't trust anybody. I just keep my faith on God, my faith in God, and strive to use my spirit, the spirit of discernment on who should be around me for a reason, season, or lifetime. And the thing is that, there's been times where people are like it might be like the token white person in the middle of a stop police brutality meeting or and they're like, that might be an agent, what I'm saying? And I'm all like, nah, the agents look, from my history, it wasn't a white it was a white person behind a Mexican person, but it was a Mexican person that was an agent that sent my mother to prison. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, I never, it's the people that look like us that I be looking out for. It's the people that look like us, because they're the ones that know how to get in the circles. It wasn't no white folks that murdered Malcolm X. They were black men that looked like Malcolm that murdered Malcolm X.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That the FBI used. You know what I'm saying? Like white FBI used them. So a lot of times, a lot of that hasn't changed. It'll be the ones, the accounts, the social media accounts that look like you, that look like they fighting with you and believe in everything that you believe in, that, that are part of the private security firm called Tiger Swan, which was Blackwater. That's coming to infiltrate a movement or to wag the dog or, whatever they do on social media to get people to believe in what they believe in. And we saw that with what they did with Trump. Trump used that same thing for in order for him to become president. If you all your listeners, y'all look at cyber terrorism, Russia, and how Trump became president, and look at how Russia is already so many light years ahead of us when it comes down to using social media to get people to think a certain way.